Welcome back, everybody. This Week in America, website thisweekinamerica.us. With us on the program today, as mentioned, Dr. LeslieBeth Wish, nationally recognized psychologist and licensed social worker, honored for her pioneering work in love, career, happiness, and success. The National Association of Social Workers has named her on the list of 50 who has contributed to the profession. Her self-help, research-based books are Smart Relationships and The Love Adventures of Almost Smart Cookie. Her surprising findings inspired her to co-write her next book about intuition, one of the cornerstones of happiness and success. And Dr. LeslieBeth Wish is with us on the program today. We're going into a new year, and people will be making and hopefully keeping New Year's resolutions. We know that's challenging, especially when you want to make love resolutions. To keep us on the right track as we get started, Dr. Wish is with us on the program. Doctor, first time on the program, thank you for joining us. Looking forward to talking with you.
Thank you so much, and Happy New Year ahead of time to you and all the wonderful listeners.
Thank you. Same to you. And we go through this period where, like, okay, it's a new year, it's a new beginning. We're going to change some things in our life now, and we're going to make some love resolutions. It's time that we get everything in place. And I know you've written an article where you actually have come up with New Year's new love resolutions. Let's start off. What's number one? What's the best way, the first way to get started this year?
Well, the first way to get started, and that's why I'm wearing green, is that I want you to get into the mindset that you are going to be turning over a new leaf and making yourself bright like a new leaf and moving forward to making changes. So get into that mindset. That's the first step.
You know, it's interesting. You mentioned, and I like that green, and that's symbolic of a leaf. You can see this program on our YouTube channel. You just go to the website thisweekinamerica.us, click on YouTube, and watch the program with Dr. Wish. You talk about not relying on instant chemistry, and I'd like to talk about that because so often people will meet somebody and they'll say after 15 or 20 minutes, it's just not there. And you're saying basically don't be so quick, right?
That's right. Instant chemistry is like a wonderful gift that when you open it, oftentimes doesn't have good things in it. And why is that? I would think that many women would have great intuition. That's what I've been told, and everybody believes that women have great intuition. And women's intuition can be strong, but it can also be wrong. And men are also intuitive. So what goes wrong? Why can't you rely on that gorgeous package? What goes wrong? So for starters, I want you to think about this. It's just as easy to fall for someone and have chemistry that is a person who is wrong for you just as much as it is a person who is right for you. So why not slow down and take your time?
Do we go into too many relationships or possible relationships with this preconceived idea of, Mr. Right, who we're looking for, Miss Right, who we're looking for? Do we sometimes are our own worst enemy when we go into a relationship because it's like initially we take a look and it's like, and we listen to them talk and it's like, okay, that really doesn't fit into the mold that I've created for myself.
Yes, most people have those checklists, endless things to check off. And some of the things on them are, has to have dark hair or long hair. I mean, really? That's what you want to put on your list? So take a look at your list. If your list is too long, too detailed, it might be that you're using that list as a way to never, ever find someone and never have a chance to fall in love and get your heart broken. So that is already starting out at the gate to defeat yourself.
Do we even need a list, whether it's written or mental? Do we need a blank slate or do we need a list?
You need a list, but not the kind of list you think of, which is how the person looks or how much money they make or, what kind of car they drive or what music they like. Your list should consist of your emotional needs. And needs are neutral. If you need someone who takes charge more and leads you a little bit without being unkind, then that's one of your needs. On the other hand, if you need to have what I call your wing person, who you can turn to either side and you can see them and you can rely on them all the time, then that's your need. You need to know your needs.
You're listening to This Week in America, website thisweekinamerica.us. Our guest on the program is Dr. LeslieBeth Wish, life advice from award-winning and nationally recognized psychologist and licensed clinical social worker. Her website is lovevictory.com. And, of course, go to our website, thisweekinamerica.us, and link on directly to her website. We're talking about New Year's new love resolutions. Number 2 that you have is I will not have sex too soon. Talk about that. That's always an issue that comes up in a relationship. Talk about what are your thoughts?
Okay, well, why would a person have sex so quickly? Well, here are the top reasons that came from my research. Well, number 1, you think that sex will seal the deal. You think that the magic of your hot sex will make this person really, really fall in love with you and want to be with you. Secondly, you're lonely. Sex is a high. It trips off your endorphins, your oxytocin. Those are hormones that make you feel happy and good. But oops, let me tell you what happens to oxytocin. Oxytocin is the hormone that gets activated when women have children. They're giving birth to a child, and it creates good feelings. So oxytocin is also needed with women to greatly improve their attachment to their child. But that oxytocin also makes you feel more attached to someone whom you don't know. So here you are having sex with someone, feeling the magic, and you wake up the next morning, if it even lasts that long, and you say to yourself, I hope this person calls. I hope this person likes me. And this is someone you don't even know. So why would you want to risk activating all your hormones that cloud your thinking and your reason and your sense of control?
Yeah, you say smart love decisions need both your heartfelt feelings and a clear head. So you really need both of those in unison before you proceed. Yes.
Yes, definitely. Because people always ask me, should I lead with my heart or my head? And I say do both. Otherwise, you'll fall into that la-la land of looking for instant chemistry, having sex too soon. And one of the things that women talked about a lot in my study is, and here's my favorite couple, I've got to grab another prop, looking for your soulmate. Well, Mickey and Minnie are perfect for each other, but they're also cartoon characters. It's not real. Soulmates are created over time. You don't find a soulmate over time when you choose a wise enough choice. Then your soulmate gets created, not discovered. Yes, it does happen once in a while, and there is such a thing as love at first sight. So what creates that love at first sight? It's a prepared mind, a mind that knows itself, knows its needs, and can read another person perfectly, really picks up those cues. And finally, I'm going to put Minnie and Mickey down.
Yes.
Also, my last prop. Also, ladybugs are good luck. There's a lot of luck involved in meeting the right person at the right time in both of your lives. So think of all those things you have to have. And that's a lot to expect on a first date, and instant chemistry and hot sex.
Our guest on This Week in America, Dr. LeslieBeth Wish. Her books are available on Amazon, available at her website, which is an excellent website, lovevictory.com. A lot of the information we're talking about in the program today there, as well as a lot of other information. Before we move on to number 3, the New Year's new love resolutions, you mentioned research. And what's interesting is when you say go on many undates, we're going to talk about in a second, that's just not something you sat around and thought of. You literally have done research with, thousands of people over the years. So what you're talking about is really the result of talking and listening.
Yes. My ideas didn't just come out of my head, and it certainly didn't come out of just the population of people who I've seen as clients, because not that many people, percentage-wise, seek therapy. And so I wanted to do research with lots of people from all over the world. And so the advice of going on an undate is really a much better way to get to know someone. Hang out with them. Get to know whether someone who looks like either of these two people, I call them people, these two people, these are not beautiful. They're not really hot looking. You don't think that maybe you could be matches for each other. But when you hang out with someone, observe them with your friends, with their friends, see how they interact together, how they treat the wait staff. That's when you get to see what that person is like in real life. Make your dates resemble real life. I'm going to say that again because it's so important. It will help you do away with those romantic getaways. Make your dates resemble real life. So even run an errand with each other. Now, I know that doesn't sound terribly exciting, but when you're with someone who is really a good match for you, your daily life is transformed by the specialness that you have together. It also gives you a chance to see who gets impatient, who gets picky and critical and says, you buying that brand or hurry up. It gives you a quick slice of what life would be like with this person.
Yeah, it's interesting. So you're talking about a very important part of being with somebody is watching and listening.
Yes, absolutely. And learn how to read a person. There's a lot of books on people reading, but some of the things you want to look for instantly are how they treat the staff. Do they snap their fingers? Do they go like this or that obnoxious habit of holding their glass up and tilting it? Do they call the wait person honey? Watch what they do. Do they get impatient? Do they call the person over and say, this steak isn't done right enough? Do they say please and thank you? Those are big tells. Other things you want to look for is when someone talks too much about themselves or just listens intently to you and charms you and looks right in your eyes and makes you feel special. Those are big tells that you don't want to trust this person.
You're listening to This Week in America. Our guest in the program today, Dr. LeslieBeth Wish. Her website is lovevictory.com. A couple of books that we talked about that, in fact, writing a third one that you can be part of by going to the website, lovevictory.com. Or go to thisweekinamerica.us and you can link on directly. We're talking about New Year's new love resolutions. And you're talking about the problem of overcorrecting. Well, I went with this person and that didn't really work out. So we're trying to find somebody totally different. And you're saying, no, that really is not going to work either.
That's right. It's so easy to get into the mindset of flipping back and forth between one kind of what you think is one kind of person to another. For example, a lot of the women in my study started out dating teddy bears. Okay? Teddy bears are so nice and warm and cuddly, and it is important to feel warm with someone. But people who can only be warm in a relationship are often going to be someone who is not reliable, can't step up when the going gets rough. They're just there to be loved and your little, helpmate, but not to be able to help in ways that make them feel that they're responsible or that they have to be more relied upon. It's very hard for them. They're so used to sort of being your cheerleading. The other downside of being with someone who is always warm and cuddly is that when you begin to run your own life more and pull away from them, what happens is that warm and cuddly begins to turn into warm and whiny.
Dr. LeslieBeth Wish, our guest of the program. I mentioned the other books, the books that she's written, Smart Relationships, How Successful Women Can Find True Love, and The Love Adventures of Almost Smart Cookie, and working on a new book on intuition. You can get information. You can purchase the books, get information at the website lovevictory.com. And step number 5, and this is a question that people have been debating for years, is when is the proper time to move in? And you've got some thoughts on that have, again, come out of research with thousands of people.
Yes.
When is the best time to move in?
Okay, that's a great question. Let me put that on hold just for a second so I can finish the other side of choosing the teddy bear. So what happens when women choose the lion, the leader of the pack, which is also a good quality trait in someone, that they are responsible, they can take charge, but you have to be careful that they don't take charge of you. So what happens is on these overcorrecting date problems is that people flip back and forth between people who are leaders but end up leading you, or that there are people who are warm and cuddly but can only be that. So they flip back and forth. So the goal is to find someone who makes you feel warm and safe, who can take the reins and give you the reins at the same time. So it is much more important to pay attention to how you relate to someone and how you are able to feel respected, have a voice and to be reliable and to expect the same things from your partner.
And again, you'll
Now we can
find
go into
information on all of that at lovevictory.com, Dr. Wish's website. And then a couple minutes left in the program. Time goes by way too quickly, and we will have Dr. Wish back with us on the program. Moving in, when's the right time?
Okay, here's what the research shows, not just my research, but statistics from the Women's Census Bureau, the marriage surveys. Not too terribly long ago, living with someone was often one of the factors that makes couples get divorced if they do get married. And why is that? Because the longer you live together with someone, what usually happens is that one person says, let's get married. I'll use my little friends here to illustrate that, okay? So you start out, hang on, let me get the potato head couple.
And again, you can see the video version of This Week in America at our website, YouTube website. You can get there directly by going to thisweekinamerica.us.
Yes, I'm holding up Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head, but they didn't start out as Mr. and Mrs. They were Miss something else and Mr. Potato Head. So you start out pretty well off, and then pretty soon what happens is that you begin to pull apart. And that happens all the time in even good relationships, but in good relationships, you each sense that you've got to come back together. But in relationships where you live with someone says eventually, I want more. I want to get close to you. I want to, be close, and I want to get married. And the other person says, but I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not sure if I want to do this. So time goes by, and the person who's not ready says, you know what? I'm ready. And guess what the other person says? I'm not ready. I'm working on something else in my life. And so they go back and forth doing this. And what happens is someone finally gets to that magic moment and cries uncle, and they go off and get married. They do it usually in haste, in a short amount of time, and it doesn't work out because those ambivalent feelings that prevented them from taking the next step are still alive. So the best way, if you're going to live with someone, current research shows that if you are going to move in together, make sure that you have the idea of getting married in mind, seriously in mind, because that way you're already over that hurdle of ambivalence and is this person good for me?
New Year's new love resolutions. You'll find that information and much more at an excellent website, lovevictory.com. Our guest on the program has been Dr. LeslieBeth Wish. She'll be back on future programs. And again, the website is excellent. She's an award-winning and nationally recognized psychologist, licensed clinical social worker. Her book, Smart Relationships, How Successful Women Can Find True Love, and The Love Adventures of Almost Smart Cookie. Information at the website on the new book she's writing on intuition. Doctor, it's a pleasure to have you on the program. A lot more information that we will find on, Happy New Year. A lot of information.
Happy New Year.
Yes, New Year, new beginning. I love that. Everybody's so optimistic the 1st of January. And hopefully in the program today, we've given you some information so you can stay excited and stay on track during the course of the year. And again, all the information available at Doctor's website, lovevictory.com. Doctor, thank you for joining us. Look forward to having you back in the program.
Thank you. Happy New Year to everyone.
Thank you. You're listening to This Week in America, website thisweekinamerica.us.